Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everybody. Can you guys hear me? Let me test out this clicker. So this is not working. Okay, this is a show only. Alright. Yeah, we need a fiber. Wireless is lousy. Well, thank you very much. I should say Fiber Network Council APAC for inviting me for the session. It is glad that everybody could make it. Today is an extraordinary day, early morning KL. Whenever there's rains, the situation is always havoc. I'll be sharing a little bit on the Telecom Malaysia journey in terms of fiberization in Malaysia. Everybody knows Telecom Malaysia. We have been in the industry for centuries, more than a century. Next slide, please. We started off Telecom Malaysia, or those days, Jabatan Pos dan Telekom, bukan Telekom, Telegraph. Yes. No, that was even before that. It was Jabatan Pos Telegraph. So it was in 18th centuries. So it was way far back lah kan. So but then unfortunately I'm not that old. So but history is something that we need to appreciate. It started off back then, and today where we are after 150 years. You see, that is something that we really need to appreciate. Along the way, a lot of things had happened. We were a government body. Then somewhere in the 80s, we were privatized. We stand alone. And today we are a public listed company, as well as we are also a government linked company. So we have the responsibility of building the nation, as well as making sure that we run a proper business. So along the way, if I could share, the first fiber, when was the first fiber came to Malaysia? Anybody knows about that? Well, good guess, good. 1994, 1993 was the day that when we start to implement our DLCs. So many people think that DLC was the one who brought over fiber. But yet again, team members, fiber was in Malaysia far back before that. It was in the 80s. It was in the early 80s that we first started to deploy our trunk route. In 1981 or 82, I was referring to my team this morning. We did not able to get the exact date, but it was in the early 80s when we first deployed our transmission link using that fiber. So many of us were still very young, and many of us were still not around at that point of time. So that is the history of fiber in Malaysia. And aggressively we started to deploy fiber in the early 90s when we started to introduce our DLC equipments, the cabinets that many of us could see on the street. So that is where everything started, and then we moved on to introduce MSAN, and then we started to have our DSLAM. Many people believe that fiber was the one who brought in internet, but not true enough. Actually, it started off as a transport medium. But fiber was a medium that is the internet connectivity. So along the way, DSLAM was introduced in 1995, 1996, after the dial-up agenda era, which was Streamix. A lot of people know that Telecom Malaysia started Streamix together with, we have our competitor. We already have our competitor at that point in time, which was Mimos or Jaring. So well, but again, yeah, it was, if we talk about Streamix today, people will scold us. See what kind of speed you guys are giving. But well, it is a technology evolvement. So it started somewhere, and today where we are We have gone far with that. And that involvement is what we are seeing today. In 2008, the government of Malaysia awarded us the HSBB contract under the PPP, Private Partnership Program, which allowed us to fiberize the nation with a few phases. We started off with Klang Valley. We selected about 10 sites, 10 exchanges to fiberize. And that was the beginning of everything in Malaysia on fiberization of connectivity. And 12 years down the road, 13 years down the road, we have fibers all over Malaysia. We have covered almost everywhere in Malaysia. And of course, I'll be touching a little bit that 12 years journey. I was with the team from day one itself, building this, and it is something that we as a Malaysian should be proud of. I'll be sharing a little bit on what happened during the pandemic time, how a lot of things with the help of MCMC changed the way we live, the way we work, the way we had entertainments. See, a lot of things changed along the way. Next. Talking about fiber, sharing a little bit on the kilometers of fiber that we have. Many didn't know that the amount of fibers that we already have in Malaysia. Malaysia is not a big country. Malaysia is a very small country compared to the other countries. And we have close to 1 million kilometers of fiber cable worldwide. And I don't know how many of us knows that a circle or a circumference of a Earth is only about slightly more than 40,000 kilometers. And just imagine, it's about 25 times circling the Earth of fiber cables that we have today. And these are all belongs to Malaysia. It belongs to Malaysia, Telecom Malaysia. We own this. And it cut across not only in locally, about 600 over 1,000 kilometers Malaysia. We also have our subsea cables, 300 over 1,000. And that subsea cable allow us to have our own cables, a partnership cable with other consortiums owners, with other operators. And not to mention that also we have 5 international cable landing systems in Malaysia. But not many people knows what is TM doing, except that people know that TM only provide unified services. See, whenever people see TM, people always see, oh, unify ni. Previously, they always see streamings. Before that, people see as telephone. So these are the changes that's happening. But we do beyond that. We have 5 international cable landing system, cutting across Asia, cutting across the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Oceans. We go as far as Marseille in Italy, cutting across the Suez Canal. That is owned by Malaysia. That's owned by Telecom Malaysia. And we also have our cable going to the US, owned by Malaysia as well. So that is how extensive we are. Not only that, we also have more than 30 presence in the world. We have our nodes outside of Malaysia. We have in Dubai, we have in Hong Kong, we have in London, we have in US. These are the nodes that belongs to Telecom Malaysia and belongs to the people of Malaysia. So we are everywhere in the footprint of telecommunication in the world. Of course, not to mention, we have 7 domestic cable landing stations, which covers mostly in Sabah and Sarawak. Next. I mentioned just now that we have a role of a GLC as well as a PLC. A GLC, we are a government-linked company. As a PLC, we are a public listed company. So on the PLC side, we do business. We run an organization that need to be profitable so that we are able to give back to our shareholders. That is something that we need to understand. We need to be balanced in between. So hence we have three lines of business. Where we have the one that many people knows, which is Unify. Which is Unify that every household talks about. Unify, we have that. That is something that we are servicing our close to 3.4 million customers being connected to us. And Puan Bawani said that the fiberization has connections to 7.5 million premise passes. Out of that, 7.5 million premise passes, 3.4 million TM's customer. And we could see that the penetration rate is still very, very low among Malaysians. We are not that high, even though that we continue to fiberize. If we just imagine, there was a question just now, whether if we were to fiberize 100% of the premise passes. But Malaysians are still a bit far from that connectivity. So where do we stand? We are a bit far compared to our neighboring countries in terms of connectivity, in terms of the take-up rate. So well, it is something that we will work together with the regulators. We will keep on pushing so that many houses will adopt and take Unify as their service. And not only that, out of that 7.5 million home passes, TM owns or TM provides 6.2. Many people might say that why TM only provides 6.2, not 7.5? Well, we are not the only operator in Malaysia. Many people think that Telecom Malaysia is the only fixed network operator. No. We have Time Telecom, we have Maxis, we have Celcom. They are also fixed network service providers. So out of that 7.5 million, today we are at about 6.2 million home passes. And yeah, we have the majority share because we started very much earlier than the others. And of course, supporting the national agenda, we had exceeded our Jendela target. We have completed it far earlier than what we were supposed to do. We were really pushing hard for the numbers because we know during pandemic, everybody was looking for this connectivity. So well, we went all out. With the help of MCMC, we get a lot of clearance from the local authorities during pandemic for us to go out. Our subcontractors were also allowed to continue to work so that materials come in on time and work could be done on time as well. Other than that, we have our TM1 who looks into the enterprise business, supporting the enterprise as well as the government agencies. And yes, we have more than 9,000 enterprise customers. We also have multinational companies with us. And we are there for the government of Malaysia. Being a GLC, we will continue to support the government of Malaysia, bringing connectivity. Not only that, we also fiberize, connecting a number of embassies that is stationed outside of Malaysia. So to make sure that they have that connectivity and close to the home in terms of connectivity. One of friend talked about data center. Not many people know that TM owns 9 data center, and out of that 9 data center, 3 data center is the world-class data center. Not many people knows because, well, a data center is something that we talk a lot with the enterprise teams, the governments. This is not a consumer field. It is an enterprise field. It is totally a different agenda altogether. And if you were to ask me where is the other hyperscalers, some of them are together with us, but not many people know. They are sleeping in us, but they claim that they are one of the service providers. So well, we may be shy off lah. TM is a kind of shy off of telling this thing to the public, but then well, this is the reality. We have 9 data centers. Data center is a very highly security area. Not everybody can just go in and come out. Even myself, if I want to go into my own data center, I will have to do a number of screening before going in. So that is how extensive, how secured is the place, because all the information is there. We have in Johor a world-class data center closer to Singapore. We have in Klang Valley too, and a few small others sitting everywhere. And we are also looking into building mini data centers just to support the 5G aspiration. And that is already in progress. 7 sites is already ready. And well, that will bring the edge closer to the region, closer to the states. On the global agenda, we have another line of business. We call it TM Global. We continue to support other telcos, other operators. We have alliances with, we do business with other telco throughout the world. We do with AT&T, we do with NTT Docomo. We just name it. We have a lot of alliances with the other telcos. And of course, having that PPP program with the government of Malaysia, we also have that wholesale agreement with other operators in terms of providing HSBA services. That is on the role of PLC. And now I would like to talk about telecom's role. Is it working? It's working. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. I have to point it there. And as a PLC, as a GLC, we have this national agenda of supporting the aspiration of the government of Malaysia. 7.5 million home premise passes was something to do with Jendela. Then beyond that, we had also with KKD, which brought a point of presence to close to a few 100,000 customers as well. But then this is not going to the premise passes, but this is bringing it closer to the premise passes, where we bring fibers to the school, closer to the school. We bring fibers closer to the government agencies, and this was covered under the POP 1. And under that, we were given a task of rolling out in northern area, Sabah and Sarawak as well. So which both of it we have completed effectively. And continuing on what Puan Bawani said on the Jendela Phase 1, well, we were far ahead from the others. We delivered our promise to our MCMC. Somewhere in October last year, we have completed our Jendela program. And yeah, we have reached 6.2 million home premise passes, and that was really challenging to deliver that. I will talk a little bit of what really happened between 2020, 2021, and 2022. But one point that I would like to tell everyone, not many countries in the world would be able to deliver more than 1 million pots a year. But we did that in 2021. To be exact, Telecom Malaysia delivered 1,048,000 pots just 2021. It was a pandemic year. Everybody was locked down. It was tough. But then, Alhamdulillah, with the help of our friends from the contractors, from the regulators, a lot of things we managed to turn around. It was a busy year for everybody. It was a busy year, especially for me. Pushing the team, material shortage. I will be talking about the challenges that we went through in 2021 to deliver that. And not to mention that alone in 2021. In 2022, we were slightly lower than 2021. Another year of 1 million plus premise passes. 2022, slightly above that, but did not. The record is still 2021. We were working crazily hard. Everybody was working from home. Many of us, the management was working from home, but we have our armies and soldiers on the ground working hard. And just imagine, team, just imagine, my dear friends in this room, a pandemic year, we risk our life just to bring the connectivity for the people of Malaysia. It was not easy. But well, not everybody appreciate that. The complaint still goes to MCMC. People don't care whether it's pandemic or not pandemic. What they care is what is important to them. But well, we survived. I did not had any casualties from my team. None of us. We were very, very cautious about hygiene. We were very, very cautious about safety. Everybody knows what to do. And there was no casualty. That's the most important thing. We delivered it handsomely, I would say. And another hot topic is the 5G topic. See, it's still a hot topic, a big agenda actually. We can debate a lot on this 5G. But being very, very factual, it's a national agenda. It's a national agenda that TM will always be supporting the government. We will continue to fiberize all those 5G areas, despite the challenges that we are going through. Puan Bahawani said that we had managed to fiberize 3,300. That was what reported, Puan, but in actual fact, it was far beyond that. We still have sites that has been fiberized that is not live yet. So the fiber is already there, but to make it live, a lot more other process that need to come into place to make it live. So I would say that, well, we are in the right track of delivering that 5G. The 80% should be something that, I should not be talking on behalf of DNB, I think. No. I better not. So I will be delivering what is required for TM to deliver to support DNB in terms of getting whatever has been promised to them or promised by DNB to the public. And we will continue to do that. And we are putting a lot of focus, a lot of efforts in terms of having that. And of course, we always need the support of the local authorities to make it happen. It is very, very challenging. If it's a government land, it is not that complex. But if it's a public land, it is really, really complex. Okay? And to talk a little bit on fiberization, which is the more interesting topic, is that when Jendela was first brought in 2020, we were having about close to 1 million customers who were still riding on streamings, and not many people know what is behind the streaming technology. Streaming technology is only a copper technology, so hence to get a better speed, to get a better connectivity, we need to move that into fiber as soon as possible. So we had that close to 1 million customers who were still on copper, and that is where the Jendela came in, and that is where we started our 2020 program in fiberizing the nation. And today we could see that, do we still have customers on Streamix? Yes, we do. I'm being honest. Why? Because some people just doesn't want to move. They are complacent with that streaming. It's not that they don't have that fiber. Fiber is already there. Fiber is already there. We have about 50,000 more premise passes to be delivered in Q1 on Jendela agenda, which I think by now, coming into February, we have less than 20,000. The team has worked hard, and we should be delivering it by Q1 this year. And that allows our customers or the Malaysians to have an connectivity up to 800 megabit per second for the time being. Well, many people may ask, why only 800 megabit per second? Why not higher than that? Well, we can go higher than this. We can go far higher than this. But Malaysians still like that 100 megabit per second, unfortunately. So from a technology perspective, yes, we are ready for whatever speed. If any of the customers come and tell us that, I need a 50 gig speed, 50 gigabyte speed, we have it. It's not that we don't have it. But the 800 that we talk here is more to the consumer perspective. But for a business, we have given even 100 gigabyte per second. So that's not a question of technology. The technology is already in place. We have all the equipments already in place. The only thing is just a matter of switching it on whenever there is a requirement to it. Yeah, as I said, Q1 2023, we will be completing everything, inshallah. If everything goes smooth, nothing hiccup, we should be delivering whatever agenda that we have promised to MCMC according to the timeline. Back? Okay, next, sorry. Well, our friend just now talked about fiber is a green technology. Yes, true enough. Fiber is a green technology. Previously, when we had copper, we used to roll out it together with DLC equipment, an MSAN equipment. MSAN equipment is the one that you could see on the street side that requires electricity. Today, it is centralized. The fiber goes from the home to the central office without going to the street cabinet. So there's no more street cabinets. Hardly after this you could see any street cabinets, except that There might be a few that in a bit rural area or suburban that we require to have an outdoor OLT. Other than that, everything goes away, and we have started to close down many of these MSANs, which had allowed us to have a lower level of carbon emission. And today we stand about 18%, 13%. We are committed of reducing carbon emission up to 30% by next year. And we also have a bold commitment in 2030 by 45% and net zero emission by 2050. That is a bold commitment, and we have started our planning towards that. And a lot of investment is being put in to ensure that we have zero emissions by 2050. Apart from that, we also start to plant trees just to pay back to the earth what we have done wrong. Okay, these are all our own doing, guys. Even if I'm not talking about being a TM person here, but then even we as an individual, we want to sleep well at night, you see. But then so we switch on aircon, but then we must remember, we must pay back to the nature. Plant trees more. We have to continue to plant trees. Otherwise, the future generation will suffer. The future generations will suffer. On a social part, we continue to provide connectivity to Malaysians. That is our primary role as a telecommunication company. We will continue to do that without fail. We will not shy away by saying that we will not provide you any services, but we will say that we will bring connectivity to you. And at the same time, we also have this social responsibility of a gender biasness. Today in TM, our board members, 36% of our board members are ladies. Not to mention that alone, more than 40% of management level in TM are ladies. So there's no gender biasness in TM. Everybody is equal. We appreciate the capabilities in everybody. We work together in order to give the best for the country. On the governance part, we are a very, very ethical organization. We don't condone unintegrity things. We don't do side negotiations. Anybody who had joined the tender of Telecom Malaysia will know that it is not easy to go through it, because we have a very, very tight governance process. And that sometimes delays a bit in terms of providing the service, but we are proudly saying that it needs to be tight. We don't mess around with integrity. That is something that we will uphold as an organization, because that will bring a better community in the future. We need to have that. And we also have the certification, ABMS, Anti-Bribery Management System. We are fully certified by SPRM or MACC. We have a very tight process to ensure that no loopholes anywhere in the tender process or whatever purchases process. Next. Sharing a little bit on the pictures of what happened in 2020, 2021, 2022. Rain, shine, flood, we still continue to work. We still continue to provide the services to the people of Malaysia. We are always there. And it's a bit odd to say that in TM, we work 5 days a week. It's a bit odd because we work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, just to make sure that people in Malaysia gets that connectivity. And many of you might know that we have a promise to our customers as well. We promise them that we will ensure that their services, whenever there's a breakdown, will be restored within 24 hours. If not, we pay you back. So that is the level of guaranteed service that we provide to our customers. We are bold enough to say that today. Why? Because we feel that we have come to the extent that we are ready to take up the challenge. The country has progressed so far, so our services has to progress that far as well. If we are not good enough, we'll pay the penalty. So that's the kind of boldness that we do. And well, this is very, very, probably people may say that this is nothing. If I share this with my team, they say, "Alah boss, this is nothing. We have been through even a worse time than this. Things in picture might look nice, but then well, true enough, we had a lot of challenges in 2021, 2022. It was a struggling year for TM, especially for me in terms of ensuring that Malaysians get connectivity while they are at home. And Puan Bawani shared, I did not share the numbers, but then I do have the numbers. The connectivity requirement, the hunger for bandwidth during the pandemic time increased more than 2 times if to compare before the pandemic. And just to share a little bit, TM spent more than 500 million ringgit just to ensure that there's no congestion in the network for the last 2 years. Just to make sure that people of Malaysia able to get that service without that buffering signal. Because a lot of people complain about that buffering sign. You see, people get annoyed. But well, we spent more than 500 million, and it was not easy. A 500 million, $500 million ringgit, without an increase of subscription fee to the Malaysian. I cannot be going out and telling this to the public, but I have to tell this. This is something that we do, just to make sure that Malaysians have that. To be exact, 560 million ringgit. Just to make sure that we increase our capacity and Malaysians are able to work from home, able to study from home, able to do their daily course at home. And what happens after the pandemic? People might say that, oh, now people don't use that already. Unfortunately, not true. Malaysians, even though you see that the road is crammed, full of cars, people think that a lot of them already went back to office. The need for connectivity has reduced. Unfortunately, no. It still stands at that level. Slightly less than 10% down. Less than that. But it's still 2 times more than what we see in 2020. So the hunger for connectivity will be there, and we are doing some analysis, trying to figure out how it will look like for the next 5 years. And my team whispered to me, it is scary, boss. The amount of investment that we need to put in just to make sure that there's no buffering signal. The demand is increasing, even though people are back to their normal life. Just imagine when the technology evolves, the capability of connectivity also increases. When the capability of connectivity increases, the need for bandwidth also increases automatically. Once 5G in place, it's going to suck the bandwidth a lot more. It is really going to pull a lot of bandwidth because there is a need for connectivity. The connectivity is only the one that we see. What runs behind it, nobody knows. See, so we are seeing a number of scary things will happen in the next few years. But the prices of bandwidth still high, Puan Bawani. The vendors are still selling it very, very expensive. It's not cheap. It is not cheap to invest in telecommunication business. It's not a cheap thing. Next, please. A lot of challenges. This is part of what we went through, and I think what anybody else also go through. Next. The other operators also go through similar challenges. Way leave approval. It's not easy to get way leave approval, and suddenly we are seeing that the local governments are introducing their local utility company that start to charge us, and this is something that worries us a lot, because as Puan Bawani said, there must be someone that we need to pass through the cost, and definitely the cost will be passed through to the consumer. If everybody start to charge us, we cannot be eating up the cost. It needs to be passed through. So that is something that we need to think of, whether we are doing the right thing for the people of Malaysia. COVID-19 was very, very challenging, and today COVID is still a valid thing. It is not something that we should forget of. It is still there. It is still there, and we do see that every now and then we hear our friends, our relatives, our colleagues are down with COVID, and they are out of business for about big. Then that is a bit challenging in terms of managing resources on the ground. We had a very, 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 very teething issue at the point of the peak of COVID, when many industries were not working. When the government started to announce saying that there will be essential services, but the essential services cannot run on its own without having the ecosystem as well. But these ecosystems are not being classified as essential services. So we had a lot of discussions with MCMC to allow MITI to allow the other industries, concrete industries, steel industries to work, so that we can plant our poles. See, poles is something that is very important. We have to bury the concrete, and we have to patch it back. So premix is also important. So there are a lot of things. So it was a challenging thing. But eventually we managed to get everything done. And managing contractors also another challenging thing. When we were given a very, very tight timeline, with a high aspiration from 4.5 million home premise passes connected to 6.5. It was not a challenging. It was not an easy thing. It was tough because the number of resources we had at that point of time, we know with that resources, we will not be able to deliver to Malaysia. So we went all out to recruit more contractors, more resources in order to deliver that for people of Malaysia. So we will continue to do that with the support of government. We need the government to support because it also another ecosystem that we are supporting. It is not only TM, it is also the Malaysian government We're supporting that ecosystem in order for us to make sure that they also survive in this world. Project management is not an easy thing. Well, that is pretty much internal that I think I will focus on. Next. Moving forward. Next, please. A lot of people know that Telecom Malaysia is a connectivity company. And those days, 10 years back, people know Telecom Malaysia as a voice company. We sell a lot of phone lines. Then after that, it was challenging for us to change the mindset of people, of Malaysian, that we are not a phone line company. We are a connectivity company. So hence, Unify made that bold difference. And today, people know us that if you want internet, you go to TM. So this is where we are today. But then, is this enough? No. We are already almost there in terms of providing connectivity to Malaysians. We need to move forward. And with that, we have turned out to be a more solution company. A more solution company in terms of technology solutions. We want to be closer to the public. We want to be closer to the enterprise. We want to be closer to the other telcos. So not only providing the connectivity, connectivity is a basic, it's a necessity. So we want to go far beyond that. It is high time for the fiber network name to be there so, because FTTH is only connecting to the house. But today we are already talking about fiber to the room. It is no more fiber to the home. So the network is end-to-end fiberized. End-to-end fiberized. So, but all this fiber is only a medium. But what is more important is that what you carry on top of that fiber network. That is the application, the solutions that will be brought in. So this is where we are here. That we are committed to be a human-centered telco, a technology company, no more a telco. And of course, this is a big mindset change within the organization as well that we need to do. We are aggressively hiring technology guys. We are aggressively training our internal team to be prepared on this solution thing. So well, it'll be another long journey for TM, but we are prepared for that. And we are also committed to have that. Next. And having said that, we continue to modernize our network. We cannot be depending on our legacy network system alone. The network that we have today, I would rather say that we don't have an outdated network, to be frank. We are one of the best telco in the world actually, but not many people appreciate that. We have a state-of-art technology, but it does not stop there. We will continue to modernize our network. And in fact, we have started this. We have started to migrate a lot of things into cloud. The journey has started, and we will continue to do that. We will ensure that from a technology perspective, we are there by next year, so that our aspiration of becoming a techco, a technology company, will be achieved sooner than the other telcos. So this is what we are doing. A very congested slide, and not many people would understand what is inside there. But well, if we are able to complete this, the experience of people of Malaysia will totally be different. Why we are doing this? Because we want to change the experience of Malaysian. How would it be different? Next. This is what's going to be different. The network will be a self-healing network. There will not be any more manual interventions. It will heal by itself. Whenever there's a breakdown, it will heal by itself. Of course, at the starting point today, the last mile will still be challenging because we don't have a double route to the last mile. But when you talk about other than last mile, major breakdowns, we will hardly hurt any more major breakdowns. We will have our regional connectivities there. We will bring our elements closer to the states. And from an operation perspective, it will be no more like those days, a development team, an operation team, an implementation team, no more like that. It will be a DevOps. And of course, the DevOps will come with security function in it. Because a tech code, a technology is meaningless without security. So that's another big word that we are working on. See, probably it's a bit heavy for me to share this, but well, these are the aspirations that we have in years to come to bring to Malaysia. It will be a changing environment altogether to Malaysia in very soon. Your ordering process will be different. Those days, if you see that you still have to walk into a TM point to do your ordering, probably after this, no more. Inshallah, we are working towards that. We are working hard for that. And you will not be seeing any more contractors coming to your home. Yeah, but actually everything starts with an aspiration, you see. So that's the aspiration that we have. Every houses has been connected. It is just a plug and play. And today we are already seeing a number of houses doing their own repairs. Not many people knows about that as well. And we just send over their CPEs to their home. Because it's all plug and play, no more configuration. Things are changing. Because configuration can be done centrally. Automation, if you talk about automation, we are above than the other telcos in terms of automation. We are far ahead of any other telcos in the world in terms of automation. We are already talking about hyper automation today. You see? So there are a lot of things happening in Telecom Malaysia Berhad. We will continue to give the best for Malaysian business, for Malaysian people, for Malaysian government, as well as for any other operators. We will not shy off assisting other operators. We will not shy off from the other global telcos as well. We are standing at the same level with the other global telcos. And I can easily say that not many people know this as well. World-class telcos are benchmarking Telecom Malaysia in a lot of manner. Not as a country, you have never heard a country, a telco in the world who have delivered 1.1 million over home passes in a year. You will never hear that. And we did that. Our new tagline, your next is now. That is TM today. We are starting off the year with a new tagline, your next is now. So it is a different TM. With that, thank you very much. Do I take questions now or? Yes, any questions?
Thank you, sir, for this very complete presentation. Of course, very impressed by the fact that to deploy 1 million homes passed in 2021. Could you share with us how many homes passed did you deploy in 2022 to reach the 7.5 million home passed? This is my first question, and if I may, I have a second question about the NG-PON. Here in the region, especially in China, we see 10G-PON highly adopted. There is a question today of the next wave. Should it be 25G-PON or 50G-PON? Is Telecom Malaysia choosing one of those technologies for the future?
On the home passes, I said we deployed 1.048 million home passes in 2021. In 2022, it was slightly lower. We just about slightly higher. That is about 1,015,000 home passes. That's all. And on the home passes, the next question was on 10G-PON. It is still aggressively used, especially in this region, 10G-PON. But if you talk about 25 or 50G-PON, XGS-PON, well, we have the technology with us. As I said just now, it's a matter of whether there's a need in the market. So if there's a need in the market, we will always switch it on. We deployed a MITI network of 10 XG-PON ready, and if there's a need for 100G or 50G, the network is already ready there. But it's not been productized for consumer at this point of time. It is a product for enterprises because there's no need for consumer to have that bandwidth. Any other questions? Yes.
Is open access an issue with telecom because you already have infrastructure in place and the government's policy is open access? What is TM's view of this?
In open access, if you ask Telecom Malaysia, I say, why you open the access? Yes, but then regulatory will scold me. But in my slide just now, I shared about HSBA commitment, and we are committed because we must also remember that the network that we built was a PPP network. It was not the money does not come from Telecom Malaysia alone. If the money comes from Telecom Malaysia alone, then we can say that we are not supporting you, blah 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 to MCMC. But then it was funded by the government, so we adhere to government's regulatory requirements, and we continue to give the same level of standard to our access seeker. There's no difference about it. And being at the network side, network team, we don't share information of our competitors with the unified team. I don't share that. I'm not allowed to share that. And whenever they ask me questions, I will not answer. So that is the level of demarcation that I put in the organization. Because that's the commitment with the regulator that I need to adhere to. Okay? Yes, point.
This is not regulated licenses, but maybe for the benefit of the audience. Do you find that the utilization of your private deployment can be considered as good? I mean, take up, because from what we understand, also in certain areas in the country, the utilization of the private network is not perhaps at optimal level. And if that is the case, whether here is doing anything about it, or is there any reasons attributable to it, for example, like possibly a high subscription cost?
The penetration rate, if we were to see it from at a glance, we would say that we have deployed so much of money, so much of fiber cables, and we have spent a lot. But then the penetration rate is not that high. But that is how we see it from a context of Telecom Malaysia or Malaysia. But I have did some benchmark throughout the world, how the penetration rate looks like in our neighboring country, which is heavily fiberized as well. Don't take, for example, South Korea. Don't take example Singapore. They are different. But we take example like Indonesia or Thailand for that matter, or Philippines for that matter. Their penetration rate is even worse than us. And people feels that mobile penetration is much more convenient and good for them. But at the same time, they always want the household network to be higher than their mobile network. So well, true enough one. From a technology perspective, from a telecommunication company perspective, we are not happy with the penetration rate. We don't foresee that it is an expensive thing because 100 megabit per second, it is already cheap today, 129 ringgit. It used to be, how much? It used to be 20 megabit per second. When we first launched it, it used to be 279 ringgit those days. That was years back. The only thing that reduces price in Malaysia is telecommunication subscription. You go anywhere, the food never reduces, the fuel never reduces, but telecommunication industry, we keep on dropping our price. But we know it is a commitment that we do, and we announce our package perpaduan, supporting the government's aspiration. 69 ringgit, 30 megabit per second, unlimited. That's the cheap one. It's really cheap. And it is, when people ask me, you still can sell for 69 ringgit ah? It's already a loss. We are giving out in a loss. But yes, we have to support. As I said, we have a role of GLC, government link company. We will continue to support the government of Malaysia. It is not a money-making thing, but then, well, just to improve the penetration rate, as Pombani said, we will have to bring it down, just to make sure that it's affordable to the people of Malaysia.
By the way, I can comment on the penetration rate of Malaysia. I will present this later, but Malaysia is not so bad.
Yeah.
Because in the region, it is 58% for Malaysia, compared to other countries. Philippines is 23, Thailand is 35, Indonesia is 27.
Exactly.
So it's not so bad.
It's not that bad. It is not that bad. But yes, of course, if you compare to Thailand, they might not like it. You compare it, they are comparing it with Singapore and South Korea. Well, don't talk about Japan now. We are far. But we believe that sooner or later, every household will have that, like they have a motorbike or a car. Sooner or later. It's only a matter of time. People will start to appreciate, because today we know that without connectivity, it's like you don't have your lunch or your break lah, your breakfast, that kind of thing. That's how important connectivity is today. Any other questions? I've taken a lot of time. Yeah,
Okay.
one more question.
Sure, please. Yeah. So I think TM have provided a very good network infrastructure. Is there any plan or contribution to a smart city solution or a secure city?
Well, that is something that we are working out to the local governments. We are already in talk with a number of local governments, and there's a plan in it. And of course, we had that with DBKL, the traffic light system, a lot of things, and that is not a safe city yet. But we are working closely with the local government, because we cannot do that without the support of the local governments. If you ask me whether are we ready, Telecom Malaysia, we are more than ready. We were ready 5 years ago. But the adoption is not there yet. So we wait for the local authorities to just give us the green light. Well, we will go in. We will go in. We are ready. We have the solution. We have our 24/7 monitoring system in place. We have our 24/7 operation center in place, one of the biggest in Malaysia, but unfortunately I cannot bring you all there. It is a highly restricted area. So we are ready, we are ready. Okay, I think thank you very much for everybody. Thank you for listening.